One. Hello once again, everyone. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends, brought to you by the Rockstar Chronicles, Series 1, my new book, featuring over 45 intimate conversations with the greatest music legends the world will ever know. Available now at bookbaby.com and amazon.com. Dion and his music have long represented a special time and place, reflective of a moment when a song could mean so much, when a singer could sum up which it means to be young, in love, and on top of the world. R&B, blues, doo-wop, and that first wave of rock and roll all influenced Dion's approach to music. I Wonder Why was Dion's first hit with the Belmonts, and over the next 2 years, the group earned a reputation not only for topping the charts, but for creating some of the most vital and exciting doo-wop music on the American scene. With songs such as I Wonder Why, A Teenager in Love, and Where or When, Dion the Belmonts earned a place in music history. The great music kept coming as Dion ventured out as a solo artist in 1960, right, racking up a string of number one hits over an incredible 4-year run. And he caught one classic after another, from the rollicking Runaround Sue to the driving Lovers Who Wander to the Wanderer. He quickly rose to the ranks of recording artists. In '68, Dion shot to the top of the charts once again with Abraham, Martin, and John, a song that was as much as an anthem for that era as early hits had been for theirs. What followed in the '70s and '80s was a string of acclaimed LPs, many of which reflected his early interest in roots music. He turned increasingly to folk, blues, and gospel again, earning a reputation as an innovator. In 1989, Dion entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of the Hall's earliest honorees. He was inducted just 1 year after the Beatles and Bob Dylan, and at the same time as the Rolling Stones, Otis Redding, and the Soul Stirrers. In over 6 decades, he has never stopped writing, recording, and performing new music. His voice is unmistakable. His music is original and entirely his own. His story is more relevant than ever. Please welcome musician, singer, songwriter, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, a true music legend, Dion, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Dion.
Hey, Ray, it's a joy to be with you. Thank you.
Man, I could go on and on about your career. You're an amazing guy.
I've been around a while, so I've been around.
I got to tell you, man, you look great. I can't believe you are in your 80s. Is that possible?
I'm 82. You know, the music keeps us young.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
I don't know. It keeps me young. I think, artistic curiosity keeps you always wanting to learn and grow and develop and mature. I don't know. I'm a blessed guy. I really am. I'm a blessed guy.
Well, you've done that through the years, man. You've kept it fresh. You know, you could have stuck to the 50s top 40-ish stuff, but you ventured out into all different types of genres, man, and that's incredible. I want to tell you, man, Stomping Ground. I want to go right into the new album. It's coming out November 19th. 5 stars. I loved it.
Hey, Ray, I never had so much joy doing stuff, recording.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a joy. It wasn't always like that. I don't know. Maybe it's my age. First of all, I feel really totally embraced by the musical community. I've always felt a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel embraced by it, like just people giving and helping out, and a lot. For instance, I sent Patti Scialfa and Bruce Springsteen a song,
Mm-hmm.
on the album that I didn't develop before I sent it. I
Okay.
did it raw. I sent it guitar and vocal.
Mm-hmm.
I told Patty, I said, I just want, if you're going to do some harmonies, I want you to hear exactly what I'm saying, where I'm breathing, so we can do it very tight,
Right.
And So she sends me back 64 tracks.
Wow, you're kidding me.
My whole career is in 64 tracks. Like, oh my God, and she stacked her voices, and when I talked to Bruce, he said, Dion, whatever you're hearing on that track, Angel in the Alleyways, is Patty's production. She loved the song. It really resonated with her. And she told me where to play. She told me where to play harmonica, tremolo guitar, showed me where to sing. She layered her voices. It's her production.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get people giving all that time, that's not phoning it in.
Right.
And it just makes you feel, I don't know, just loved. It makes you feel accepted and cared for. I don't know. It's an amazing, you feel, that's what I'm talking about. I said, I'm glad I lived this long. I'm stuff I was never open to receive, because in my life, it was like, I did everything myself. I was brought up in a little, Italian ghetto neighborhood in the Bronx. It was always like, hey, don't ask for help, Only weak people ask for help. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do everything yourself. It's weakness to ask for help,
Well, you had a lot of help on this album, man. You had Boz Scaggs, Mark Knopfler, Eric Clapton, Peter Frampton, Springsteen, Billy Gibbons, Kev Moe, Sonny Landreth, Joe Menza, Jimmy Vivine. Ricky Lee Jones. The list goes on and on, man. It's incredible.
I know it was fun. I tell you, Ray, it was really fun working with a lot of these people. It's funny because I never tell anybody what to do.
Right.
I just don't tell people what to do. I don't tell these great artists what to do, because they hear the song, and if they sing yes, they usually have an idea of what they want to contribute. It's because of the way they hear, because of the way I'm hearing. Like I wrote this song, I Gotta Get to You. And in my mind, it was a song, it had a sense of urgency. Gotta get to you, baby. Like I know somebody filled your heart with sorrow, your eyes with tears. I'll be your champion, I'll be your hero. I gotta get to you. And I wrote about every form of transportation.
I heard it, yeah.
In my mind, it was a song about a sense of urgency, and it was intense. So I sang it that way. So I played it for Boz Scaggs, after my friend Joe Menza and Michael played on it. I said, all out, blown out, finished track. I said, Boz, why don't you can help me with this song, because it just goes on and on. It needs another, another voice on it, something a little different, to make it interesting. And he heard the song with a sense of humor. So we threw it back and forth. And I said, okay, you do the second, I'll do the first two lines, because I'm singing really like with some kind of intensity. And you do the second two lines. So that's what we did on every verse. and it works.
It did work.
Perfectly,
I heard a little bit of country rock in that song, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So some of the my favorites, of course, Take It Back with Joe Bonamassa, which is on YouTube, and it's like an official video out there that just kicks ass. One of my favorites is Hey Diddle Diddle with G.E. Smith. It sounds very Tom Petty-ish in a way.
That song just I must have put it together, and it's like nonsensical kind of stuff.
Hmm.
I just threw it together like one afternoon, and I heard kind of like a money ain't for nothing vibe,
Right, right.
talk. But I knew G.E. Smith is the master of the telephone. So I thought, let me send it to G. He's got an attitude. That's one thing I know. I used to watch Saturday Night Live just to see the
Hmm.
little pieces of where he played. Forget all.
Yeah.
I would wait to see G.E. Smith. So I send it to him, and again, I don't say anything. I don't say I'm
Mhm.
this, and could you give me something like this? No, I don't want to get in somebody's head. I figure I want what they have to offer. I give him the song. He sends it back. He played throughout it. I thought it was new to me because it was something I wasn't hearing.
Hmm.
But the second time I heard, now I can't hear it without that. It's perfect.
Hmm.
I don't know what he's playing. It sounds like Arabian blues to me.
Definitely one of my favorite tunes. I love that song. And
Thank
a track that's very smooth, a very sexy track is Dancing Girl.
I love that. That's one of
Yeah.
my, and Mark Knopfler is so distinctive. All these artists are.
Hmm.
He he was the only guy who got involved in the production of the song. I mean, talking to me about how to,
Hmm.
the verses, and I sent it to him, and I had one too many. I said "Dancing Girl" one too many times for him. So he calls me, he says, "Dion, why don't you write a couple of more lyrics to take some." All I can see was a mystery instead of repeating "Dancing Girl." So I rewrote it a little and sent it back, and he was right. He was right.
Yeah.
He is, and it's amazing, Ray, that you ask these guitar players, it's like the same guitar, the same hand.
Right.
What's in their hands and in their
Hmm.
they grab that guitar and something comes out that's totally
Yeah.
distinctive and unique and beautiful. So
Yeah.
and he's one of those guys, man. He touches the guitar and the sound just takes you on a trip.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
another big guitar player on your albums, of course, is Eric Clapton. And if you want to rock and roll, I heard a little bit of Allman Brothers in that tune.
well, when I called Eric, he was delighted. He said, "Of course, I'm going to play on it," and he
Hmm.
said, "I'm going to stand up like I'm playing before 20,000 people."
Cool.
Get back to me. We were in shutdown, so I had to send
Yeah.
it off, and they played on them in the studio, and
Right.
just it would have been the same thing if I was there. But when he sent it back to me, he sounded like he was 19 years old. Wow, man, thank you. He just very, just a really heartfelt guy to talk to. These guys are.
Mhm.
This has been a wonderful experience. It's a lot of fun
Yeah.
with that kind of spirit.
Hmm.
We're making friends by making music with friends.
Exactly. Yeah. I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s, and I always picked the top 40 song on every album that I review. And I think The Night Is Young was the top 40 hit. If there was a top 40 hit that goes on the radio, if radio was like it was back then and not today, I think The Night Is Young would have been the hit. What do you think about that?
You know, I have to agree with you.
Mhm.
It's like a song that's crafted that way.
Right, right.
Some of the other songs are like almost jams.
Hmm.
With a great guitarist, you write great lyrics, but there's no thinking. You're just kind of like sing the song and they respond to every word you're saying.
Right.
The Night Is Young, uh, the way I wrote it, I always thought of, yes, first of all, I agree with you. My engineer, my producer feels the same way that you feel. He, the way I wrote that song was I always felt that rock and roll was kind of a religious experience to me.
Sure. Yeah.
If you take Bob Dylan's, you got to serve somebody, or a multitude of other songs. Or you take Bruce Springsteen's Everybody's Got a Hungry Heart, or you get U2 singing I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Billy Joel's Love You Just the Way You Are. I always hear a bit of like heaven in it, a hospitality. And I always wanted to write one of those songs where you're searching and for something more, and it came out the way it came out was, I'm glad you like it. I like that song too. I went up to New York. I was hanging out with my friend Joe Menza, who's a great guitarist and edits most of the videos for me. He's a great editor. The guy's. But we did some filming down on 42nd Street. We went into the subway, and we had a ball, and then we went to a Chinese restaurant on 42nd Street and just laughed all afternoon.
One of my heroes, you dedicated a song to, and I had him on. I interviewed him, and he's in my book. And he was the only guy I had a hard time understanding because of his Louisiana accent, was Dr. John. Oh man, I'm so glad you wrote that tune for Dr. John,
I wish he was alive to play on it. I did sample some of his stuff and put it, and it sounded so good. But, it's hard to get to his estate and, people to have him, to get a release on a lot of that stuff. So I didn't want to get into a jam with it. So I got my friend Steve Kahn, who's understands Dr. John and worships him. I mean, he was not a good piano player. This guy was mesmerizing. I mean, to a piano player, you would think he had four hands.
Yeah.
He was just that good.
Yeah.
But Steve Kahn knows that second line kind of deal. So he did a great job on it.
Yeah, the melody sounded like Dr. John's music all the way. It was great. Yeah,
I had to write that song. I always had that in the back of my head.
Yeah. Dr. John was a really good session guy too. I mean, he goes way back from the early days, him, Leon Russell, all those guys. They're all session players.
He and Billy Gibbons are unique guys artistically, that, the way they play, the way they write, the way they talk, the way they send emails, the way they walk, everything about them is so distinctive and unique, I love both of them.
And of course, you threw in a cover, a Jimi Hendrix cover, Red House, with Keb Mo, the only song you did not write.
Well, the Jimi Hendrix record of Red House is my favorite Jimi Hendrix song. Recording.
Right.
You want to study how to sing the blues, or especially slow blues, and attitude, and how to play, and how just everything about that record is perfect. So I mean, you just got to be a fool to try and copy that. It's really cool because it's a perfect record.
Yeah.
But I love it so much that I said, let me do a Dion spin on it. Let me just.
Yeah.
because I love the song. I think Jimi Hendrix would approve. He would say, he would probably say to me, you know, you went to the same place as I did. You had a lot of, you get it. You get.
Mhm.
So I asked Kev Mo to play on it, and
Mhm.
he knew it was fun. So he did a great job. I
He
mean,
did. Yeah. And last track on the album, you and Ricky Lee Jones. I mean, you guys meshed very well together.
you know, the last album, Blues with Friends,
Hmm.
I think every and this album, every time
Hmm.
I'm talking to a musician,
Right.
for some reason Ricky Lee Jones' name comes up.
Hmm.
I mean, you know, like my engineer, he worships at the altar of Ricky Lee Jones.
Hmm.
Just he loves her style, the way she, just everything about him, you
Yeah.
know. So, uh, especially the way she writes and how she understands music,
Right. Right.
she gets it.
Hmm.
When I sent her this song, she said to me, Dion, she said, I'm so glad you called because my producers like Lenny Waronker and Russ Titleman said they were talking about Blues with Friends. They were telling me how good it is. I'm so glad you asked me. And she says, I haven't even heard the song, but I want to do it because I would dance in the kitchen with my sister and Runaround Sue and the Wanderer.
Yeah.
So, I'm in. I'm in.
Awesome.
Song, and it's a quirky love song.
Hmm.
And man, she got it. She said, Dion, I don't have what this song professes to have, and I don't think I'll ever experience it, but I get it.
Yeah.
She sang her heart out of it. So it worked well.
Yeah. But the album's terrific, man. And you couldn't ask for a better lineup. 5 stars, available November 19th. And it'll be available everywhere, especially and on Amazon.com. I know we're short of time. Your PR people told me to cut it short to about 30 minutes. I usually go for 45 minutes to an hour. and always have fun with all my guests. Some of the people I've had on my show from your era, I've had Connie Francis on. She's doing well. She's in Fort Lauderdale. She lives in Lauderdale.
Yeah, she lives down the street from me.
Is that right? Really?
Well, you know,
Not literally, but
literally, yeah, she's
literally, really cool.
close, very close.
Nice lady.
I
Yeah.
go to her birthday parties or whatever, whenever she asks to come over, and I'll do stupid Cupid, you're real mean.
Yeah. Back in the 50s. She was awesome. And I had on that too long ago, Joey D from the Starlighters.
Yeah,
Nice guy. He lives in Florida too. He lives in Clearwater.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've been friends with him a long time. We used to go to the Peppermint Lounge, man. He
Mhm.
ripped that place up when the twist was uh, totally exploded, in all its glory. No one ever
Mhm.
quit. And Hank Ballard wrote it, and a year later,
Yep.
Chuck knocked it out of the park. And man, when they picked up on it, those places were jumping in New York,
Yeah.
you know, filled
He
to
lo-
the
he looks good too. He's very very dapper. The way he dresses and everything. You look great. Yeah.
good guy.
Yeah,
Good guy.
good guy, real good guy. I want to mention your book, um, which is The Wanderer Talks Truth, Stories, Humor, and Music. That's out. That's available at Amazon.com. And there's a musical, right, coming out, The Wanderer.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Ray, Charles Messina is a
Hmm.
friend, great playwright.
Right.
He wrote a lot of off-Broadway stuff. And, I would hang with him. And one day he says, check this out. And he writes with a lot of substance, but in a very entertaining way.
Right.
And I kind of go through this story that he puts together from all our talks. mean, I never saw him write a note or, uh, but he put together a real good story, and the
Hmm.
play is killing. I mean, the people that seen the presentations of it, the readings, some of the presentations we've done, just uh, they love it. Listen, it has a lot of rock and roll street history,
That's right.
action, romance. I met my wife in the Bronx. She had moved down from Vermont when I was about 16. She was about 14.
Wow.
Yeah, we're still together. I'm
Amazing.
so
God bless you, man.
it has, and there's a lot of great music. He put when he drops my songs into the play, it's not in a chronological way, like it's
Mhm.
King of the New York streets.
Right.
So every song pushes the story, a little ahead. It's ingenious the way he did it, and it has a lot of laughs. And of course, it's like betrayal and overcoming, and it's like the Young Sopranos
Hmm.
with great music and a Rocky Balboa ending. And it premieres in March of March 24th of next year, 2022, and it's going to be running for about 5-6 weeks at
Right.
Milburn Paper Mill Playhouse.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool. The Playhouse,
Right.
like Broadway ready. That's where they
Hmm.
own it. When you build a set, it's the same dimensions as Broadway, so they just move it when they have.
Fantastic. Yeah, I hope it tours, man.
Well, listen, I don't know if you get out of the state, but if you get up to New York, give me a call. Be my guest. You
Okay.
can enjoy it.
I got a lot of family in Brooklyn. And Bensoners, actually.
I tell you, the kids are moved. The kids are going to be after this pandemic and everything.
Hmm.
Like Manhattan moved. Brooklyn and Manhattan,
It's changed. Yeah.
young kids are coming in and
Yeah.
buying that up and renting apartments. It's going to be vital and very significant. It's it's going to be happening. It is happening.
That's good. Yeah, I hope it tours though. I'm friends with Bruce Sedano. His wife is Donna Summer, and of course, the Donna Summer musical has done well, and that's touring. So I'm assuming your musical is going to do the same. I can see that touring as well.
Well,
So I'm looking forward to that.
Arno is one of the greatest guys on the planet.
He's cool, nice guy.
I love that guy.
He sent me a. I don't know if you can see that a bobblehead. Bruce Sedano bobblehead. I think he's got a million of them. He gives them out left and right.
I sing with him quite a lot, man. He's a good, we get into doing doo-wop together. We became friends way back, and love to sing together.
He's awesome. I love him. He's a good guy. I got two last questions. Abraham Martin John. A lot of people don't remember this, but you added Bobby Kennedy later to that song, right? Was that you that did that, or
No, no,
no?
song was written like that, no, in one shot. No, in fact, it was written
Hmm.
after Bobby Kennedy was assassinated
Right.
out of pure frustration. It was such a frustrating time, right?
It was horrible. I remember 68.
Very unrest, an unrest with the war. And
Hmm.
Martin Luther King had gotten assassinated a few months earlier, and we were wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
When Bobby Kennedy, when that happened to Bobby Kennedy, it was really frustrating. It was like, what's to try to make some sense out of it.
Yeah.
I put the song together because it was like you could kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream because people like us are going to pick up on it and
Right.
to be honest, since Facebook and all, of course, that came out in 60 at the end of 68. people sometimes, the way the climate is now, very political, left and right.
Yeah,
People want to, there's a lot of crazy people out there.
there
But
is.
they want to, they want to accuse you of something.
Hmm.
They get political, and I said, we didn't, back then we didn't write it uh, uh, from a political place. And if you wanted to look at it like that, two of the guys in it, Martin Luther King and Abraham Lincoln,
Hmm.
Republicans, and the Kennedys were.
Hmm.
I mean, uh, not that it was a political song, but we wrote it about a state of mind, a
Sure.
state of love that
Yep.
doesn't, and it's for us to make it real.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of frustrated, angry people out there right now, that you can't even explain things to. They're just not open.
I grew up in DC, and my dad had stores in DC since early 60s. And I used to work there as a kid when I was 6 years old. I wrote a book about growing up in the family business. So I saw 68, I saw the riots. We had to close down, empty the windows out. They had tanks in DC, roaming the streets. I saw the hippies and the yippies marching. I saw Nazis marching. I mean, I saw everything in DC, man. I saw all the inauguration, when they were the motorcade and all that. I took that for granted, but it was, history. It was pretty cool actually to see all that.
Most of the news channels come out of,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like they live in a bubble.
Yeah, they do live in a bubble.
It's like that's not the world.
No, they have no clue.
Not the world. So they,
Yeah, I
and they
grew up with Walter Cronkite. I thought he was, he wasn't biased. He just told it like it was.
tell you what they saw, what they experienced, give you the facts,
Yeah,
and make up your own mind. They
that's
let
how
you,
the news should be.
everybody wants to tell you what to think.
Exactly right.
That's a problem. There's a big difference
Yeah,
in a request and a demand.
yeah,
So you got people demanding stuff,
that's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in now.
Yeah.
Dion, here's your final question. I ask everybody this question. I get some really interesting answers. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
To perform at,
To perform with, collaborate with. I mean, they could have passed on. It's who do you think you like to hang with musically?
that's an interesting question, man. There's so many people that I just love, and to
Hmm.
be a part of stuff like that, But I gotta say, I don't know, one of my favorite guys to like just perform with is Van Morrison.
Really?
You know, he's just got a way of he's so gifted, and I love, we have the same like roots. We don't have to think. We're expressionists. We both
Mhm.
singing like a horn, we're both rhythm singers and soul singers.
Mhm.
I don't know, it would be comfortable, and I think we could rock a crowd.
Cool. Good answer. Good answer. One guy I know you admired was Hank Williams.
Oh yeah, I would. Well, I would. I would love him and Jimmy Reed to be on
And
the show.
Jimmy Reed. Yeah, he was incredible.
Don't get me started.
We can go on and on and on.
It's all those guys that are part of my DNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jimmy Reed and Hank Williams didn't exist, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that's my my DNA.
Right. Diane, I want to first of all say special thanks to Amy Treco Block for arranging the interview with Dion. You can purchase the latest album from Dion entitled Stomping Ground, November 19th. It'll be available everywhere. Your book, The Wanderer talks truth, stories, humor, and music. I'm going to buy that after we hang up. Got to hear that. Got to read that. That's going to be a great read. And for more information about Dion, you have your official website at www.diondemucci.com. You're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Dion, thank you so much, man, for being on the show today. I really, really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Love the album. Love the album. 5 stars, man. And I tell you, man, you're a great blues artist. You know, you surprised me how good at the blues you are. Your music sounds like it's been around for years. Like it's like a traditional blues album. You know, all the songs you've written. It's incredible.
You know, when I was a kid, Ray, I got hooked on hit records because we were 15, you know.
Yeah.
We did I Wonder Why, you know.
Yep.
Like making things up, you know, and Teenager in Love and Where Are We, you know. I got so hooked on hit records are like a narcotic, you know, like an aphrodisiac, you know. So you tend to, but I did get a few in there like Ruby Baby and Drip Runaround Sue, and you know, it come out, you know. But later on, when I started settling down and I wasn't looking to impress anybody, or you know, didn't have a record company, and I was free, and nobody cared what I did, I kind of settled down into like the center of my being, and it's there. The blues,
amazing.
You know, it's just it comes easy to me. It comes natural to me. It's what I think everything I've done up until now is like based. You know? So thanks for recognizing it. You know,
it's not easy to have a great blues voice either. That's very difficult to do, and you got it. You know,
I'm a rhythm singer. I don't have a voice, but
yeah,
give me a rhythm, and I could sing. You know, I'm not one of, you know, like Pavarotti or, you know, whole notes for like you know, and but you give me like that
there you go.
You know, I get into it, you know, just so anyway, it's a pleasure talking to you, Ray. Have a great.
You too, man. Dion, you're incredible. Thank you so much, man, for being on the show. My best to you and the family.
You too, man. You stay well.
All right, you too. Bye-bye now.